All right, so picture this, a letter of intent lands on your desk.
And it's talking about hemp batteries. Hemp batteries.
Honestly, my first thought was,
Yeah.
okay, what am I missing here? But the
Yeah.
more I dug in,
The more intrigued I got.
it's one of those things where on the surface, you're like, hemp? Really?
Right?
But then you start to peel back the layers, and it's like, hold on. There might be something here.
For those just joining us, we're diving into this potential partnership between the Wisconsin Battery Company
They're known for making those tiny hearing aid batteries.
and Hallotrope, a company that's all about hemp graphene.
And that's the thing, right? Graphene itself, it's like the wonder material of the 21st century. We've talked about it before on the show.
It's true.
You've got this one atom thick layer of carbon arranged like a honeycomb.
Right.
And that structure, it gives it these insane properties. We're talking crazy good electrical conductivity, tons of surface area, it's super strong, and they're saying they can get this from hemp.
Yeah. So break it down for us. Why is that such a big deal for batteries?
Okay, so think about it. You want a battery that's efficient, right?
Of course.
You want it to hold a charge for as long as possible.
Right.
That's where the conductivity of graphene comes in.
Okay.
Electricity flows through it with almost no resistance. That means less energy is lost as heat, which means longer battery life. Then you've got the surface area.
Okay.
Think of it like a sponge. The more surface area you have, the more water it can hold.
Right. Right.
Same idea with batteries. More surface area means more space to store energy.
Yeah.
And then there's the strength, right? You don't want your battery conking out after a few charges.
Right.
Graphene's strength helps batteries last longer, withstand more charge cycles before they degrade. And again, we're talking about potentially sourcing this from hemp.
Okay, so that all makes sense, but why hearing aid batteries? That seems like a very specific place to start if you're talking about, like, revolutionizing energy, right?
It's actually a really smart move. Hearing aid batteries are tiny, but they need to be powerful.
They do, yeah.
That means packing a lot of energy into a small space, which is no easy feat. If this hemp graphene can deliver in that kind of demanding application, it opens the door for so many other things.
Right, it's like a proof of concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they even mentioned in the LOI that they're already working on prototypes for electric vehicles, which obviously need a lot more power.
They're thinking big picture, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's get down to, the heart of why we're really here.
Yeah.
You get this LOI, exciting new technology, but it's also an investment opportunity.
Right.
So what's the potential here? What are we looking at?
Okay, so disclaimer, not giving financial advice here,
Of course, of course.
but they're good signs. The LOI mentions validation from some pretty big names in material science.
Right.
They've got volume estimates, which at least shows they're thinking about the market.
Right.
And maybe most importantly right now, they're tapping into a potential solution for the graphite shortage.
Because, we should probably mention, most batteries right now rely on graphite, and there are some concerns about, the supply chain.
Huge concern. So the idea of using hemp, which can be grown domestically, more sustainably, potentially, it's a big deal. It could be a real game changer in terms of supply chain security and, even just the environmental impact.
Okay, that's all very promising. But they are asking for $2.5 million.
That is a chunk of change.
It is a chunk of change. So if someone's listening to this and thinking about investing, what should they be, what are the red flags? What should they be cautious about?
Due diligence, due diligence, due diligence.
Of course.
Prototypes are great, but scaling up production, that's a whole other beast. I always use the pie analogy. You can bake an amazing pie in your kitchen. Doesn't mean you can open a bakery and churn out hundreds of perfect pies a day consistently,
Right.
So investors should be asking for a roadmap, not just for the technology, but for manufacturing, distribution, marketing, whole 9 yards.
So it's not just, does the battery work? It's, can they actually make it and sell it at a profit?
Exactly. And that's often where things fall apart, right?
This LOI, it feels like one piece of a much bigger story.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the bigger story here.
We're seeing this convergence of trends, right? There's this big push for sustainable materials. Everyone's worried about supply chains.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the constant demand for better, more efficient energy storage.